We will go on the record in the matter 24 CF 137, State of Wisconsin versus Eliza Mitchell. The state appears through District Attorney Kevin Schmidt in person. We have Ms. Mitchell appearing in person with her counsel, Jacob Gondik. We're set here today in this matter for a sentencing portion of this case. Ms. Mitchell did plead guilty on April 4th, 2025, to operating with restricted controlled substance as a first, as a forfeiture, and homicide by negligent operation of a vehicle. The court ordered a pre-sentence investigation report. The court has thoroughly reviewed that report and the recommendations. The court has also reviewed the alternate PSI prepared on behalf of Ms. Mitchell and defense. In my review, although I am not as familiar with all of the facts that could be contained in the file and about this matter, I did not find any material facts or corrections that would need to be stated on the record. But we are in victims' rights compliance. We have victims here. We're going to have at least 4 victim impact statements. Mr. Schmidt, did you receive and review both the PSI and the alternate PSI?
I did. I reviewed them. I have 2 corrections to the PSI. That is the DOC one. First, they put the wrong date on when the offense happened. They wrote it happened in 2025. It did not happen in 2023. The second correction I have is they indicated that the blood results for alcohol were 0.02. It was not. It was less than 0.02. That is all.
Oh, right. I did notice that date as well. I just didn't highlight it, so it didn't jump out. I did have it circled. As to the lesser than 0.02, I was not definitely aware of that matter. Thank you. Mr. Gondik, any corrections or modifications for the record?
No additional corrections or modifications other than the ones already stated by Mr. Schmidt. Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you thoroughly go over both of these documents with Ms. Mitchell?
I did, Your Honor. We had an opportunity to review both pre-sentence investigation reports, the DOCs and the alternate, and went over those with Ms. Mitchell, answered any questions she has, and I believe she has a full understanding of both of the documents, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mitchell, you thoroughly did go over these documents with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you did not notice anything other than perhaps those 2 corrections that would be necessary for the court to be aware of?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, victim impact statements, please. Ms. Bauer, can you please have each of them? They can all come and sit right here behind the little victim table, and then they can come up one by one. If you can please have them identify themselves either by their full names or by initials, whatever they feel the most comfortable. I would appreciate that. Thank you. Well, they can sit all back there. Yep, just so I know and I can see and I can pay attention. Thank you. All right, again, please either state your name or your initials for the record. You can have a seat, pull the microphone close to you so that we all can hear. And I know that this is a very emotion-filled matter and case. And I know that there's a lot of emotions running through everybody right now. I'm going to please ask each of you that if you're going to be reading something, please read it very slowly. If this is something that's going to and it causes a lot of emotion. If you're going to be filled with emotion, you can take a breath and stop. I need to be able to hear and understand everything very clearly, okay? All right, you may begin.
Your Honor, my name is Deborah Matias, and I'm here speaking today as the mother of Katrina Matias-Staples. I wrote this statement to describe how the reckless choices made on the early morning of October 4th, 2023 have changed my life. Since losing my daughter, I have struggled every day. No parent should ever have to bury their child. It goes against the natural order of life. The grief that followed Katrina's death was and still is overwhelming. And the pain is indescribable. I continue to experience intense waves of anxiety, depression, and anger. My relationships with my family and friends have suffered, and I often find it difficult to connect with the world around me. Even simple tasks can be unbearable. One of the hardest parts is that the accident occurred just 3 miles from my home.
I'm having a very hard time and I just need you, I understand that I really truly, I'm very sorry for your loss. If you can speak up and try and enunciate just a little bit more, please.
One of the hardest parts is that the accident occurred just 3 miles from my home. I pass that location often, and each time I do, the images in my mind are vivid and haunting. There is no escape from the place where my daughter's life was lost. Katrina was and always will be my greatest blessing. Her smile could light up any room. She was kind, compassionate, and genuinely caring. She had a rare gift. She made everyone around her feel seen, heard, and appreciated. The world feels darker without her in it, and the void she left behind is impossible to fill. I not only grieve losing my child, but I mourn the grandchildren I will never meet. The moments I will never share with her as a mother watching her own children grow. I will not get to see her walk down the aisle, celebrate her milestones, or hear her laugh as she tells me stories about her own family. Those dreams died with her, and there's an ache in my heart for the generations that were never given a chance to exist. That loss is invisible to others, but I carry it every day. I respectfully ask the court to recognize the devastation this tragedy has caused, and I hope that in time I can find the strength to rebuild, to feel joy again. Nothing can bring my daughter back, however. Justice must be served for the life that was taken and the pain that remains. I urge the court to impose the maximum sentence for the crime the defendant chose to commit. Thank you for allowing me to speak respectfully, Deborah Matras.
Thank you so much. All right, the next individual, please.
My name is Katrina Hawkins. Katrina Matias was my cousin, but she was so much more than just family. She was my best friend. We grew up side by side, supporting each other through every stage of life. We shared countless memories, laughter, comfort, and everything in between. On the morning of October 4th, 2023, I was getting ready for work when I received a frantic phone call from my mom. She told me that Katrina had been in a car wreck and did not survive. I remember standing there in disbelief, saying out loud to myself, "It's not true. She's okay. She's not dead." I kept repeating those words as I continued my commute to work. It wasn't until I sat down at my desk that reality began to set in. I realized I was in denial. Losing her has been one of the most painful challenges I've faced. Katrina was full of life, and she had the kindest heart. She was always looking out for others and lived by the principle of giving without expecting anything in return. She truly was the kind of person who would give you the shirt off her back. A memory that stands out was when Katrina, my cousin Alex, and I were having breakfast at the Poorhouse in Siren. Katrina had asked the waitress for another table's bill because she wanted to pay for it. I remember Alex turning to her and saying, "Wow, you make me want to be a better person." That was the kind of light Katrina brought into the world. She inspired those around her with not just words, but with action as well. This world was robbed of someone who made it a better place. Recently, I graduated from college. It was a proud moment in my life, but it was also bittersweet. The pain of knowing Katrina wasn't in the crowd cheering me on, like I know she would have been, was difficult. She was always one of my biggest fans, always lifting me up. Every year without fail, she was the first person to wish me a happy birthday. It was something small, but it meant everything. Now that message won't come again, and that's just one of the many quiet ways her absence is felt. The bond I shared with Katrina was unique. She was someone I could be completely myself around, no masks, no fear of judgment. We had this effortless connection, the kind where just a glance could send us into a fit of uncontrollable laughter. Being with her felt like home, and I miss that more than anything. The reckless actions that caused this tragedy didn't just take her life, it took a piece of who I am. No sentence or punishment can bring her back, but I hope the court considers the weight of this loss, not only to me, but our entire family and community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ashley Matrias. I'm here to elaborate on how the choices made by Eliza Mitchell on October 4th, 2023 has affected me and my family and how it's changed our lives forever. I will slow down.
You just slow down, please. I know that this is, it causes a lot of anxiety. Just take a breath and let me know exactly what you want me to know.
First, I'll tell you the kind of person she was. Katrina was a happy soul full of positive energy. She was always willing to help anyone, especially those she loved. She had a heart of gold. Family was everything to her. She took care of her cousins like they were her own children. When she met my firstborn, I was taking a shower and my sister was about to change him when Katrina stopped her and showed her how to warm the wipes with your hands before wiping their butt. I was so impressed by her motherly instincts at 16 years old. At that point, I knew I was going to ask her to be my kid's wentess. A wentess is the Native American version of a godparent. I was honored that she accepted because I trusted that if anything happened to me, that my kids could call upon Trina for anything. Katrina was amazing. She was the only one in my family who would just show up to visit and spend time with me and my kids for my son's golden birthday. She saved up money to fly not only herself, but 2 cousins out to Pennsylvania and surprise my son. No one asked her to bring them, but of the goodness of her heart, she left them with some of the happiest memories that will last a lifetime. She never missed a birthday and never showed up empty-handed. Her and my daughter Paisley had a special bond. They called each other Chicken Wing. My children and I always enjoyed the time we got to spend with Katrina. She was our person, someone we could count on. She helped me in so many ways, from babysitting, cleaning my house, joining us at the park, bringing us out to eat, or just hanging out at the house, playing games with the kids. I can't forget the times she would help plan, shop, and decorate for my kids' birthdays. She was so much more than a cousin or a best friend. She was my soulmate. She lifted my burdens and helped me through life's challenges. She didn't always know what to say, but her presence said it all. It breaks my heart that she will never have the chance to have a baby, a family, get married, and grow old. I'll never get the opportunity to hold her baby and watch her flourish as a mother. Her mother no longer has a chance at becoming a grandmother. Any future plans Katrina had, from being a mother or continuing her education, was ripped away from her by Eliza's choice to drink and get behind the wheel of a motor vehicle, even though 8 days prior, she was given a citation from Burnett County law enforcement for underage drinking and still made the choice to drink and drive. The last time I seen Katrina was Sunday, October 1st, 2023. It was my daughter Paisley's birthday. Everything was normal. Katrina was running late. I remember she showed up with a smile and delivered Paisley's gifts. We hung out, had some laughs, and said our goodbyes and parted ways. 3 days later, I received the dreaded 6 a.m. phone call that broke my heart.
All right, let's talk about that. In a powerful and carefully reasoned ruling, Judge Mogan brought Michael Hess v. Rose Hutari to a close one that highlighted just how delicate and consequential a Replevin case can be when it involves a beloved pet. And make no mistake, this wasn't just about a dog. This was about trust, second chances, and how undefined promises can unravel into legal knots. Through it all, Judge Mogan did what good judges do. She stayed steady, grounded the ruling in law, and treated the parties with empathy, even when things got emotional. The final order? Samson, the German shepherd at the center of this storm, is to be returned to Mr. Hess within 1 week, and it wasn't just a simple handover. The judge made it abundantly clear this is a conditional gift, and the sole remaining condition is that Samson must live in a stable home. Judge Mogan went to great lengths to define that term. It means food, shelter, and a safe environment. It does not mean bouncing between a girlfriend's trailer and a parent's home. And it certainly does not mean leaving the dog in the car outside a bar. Still, in this instance, she found that Mike Hess met the requirement. At the time of the hearing, Samson was living with Mike's mother and stepfather, Floyd, whom Rose herself admitted were stable people. And while the Ice Shack living arrangement earlier in 2023 probably wouldn't qualify, Judge Mogan noted that even Rose accepted it at the time. More importantly, once Mike moved into his parents' home, that became Samson's stable living situation. She addressed the elephant in the room too, Mike's legal issues. With open cases, possible charges, and allegations of substance use floating in the background, the judge didn't ignore them. She acknowledged their seriousness and in no uncertain terms warned Mike, if he ends up in jail or prison for a substantial amount of time defined as 6 months to a year, he'll be in violation of the court's order. And at that point, custody of Samson could revert to Rose. As the judge put it, you can't parent from prison, and you can't pet parent from prison either. As for how things ended between Mike and Rose, well, it wasn't pretty, and that played out in the courtroom. The judge made a point of saying that animals feel tension, and Samson's anxious behavior during the relationship likely reflected the emotional turmoil between them. That comment was based in part on the testimony of witness Sharice Miller, who described a night and day difference in Samson's behavior between then and now. But as Judge Mogan astutely noted, Miller only saw Samson when the couple was still together, making it impossible to separate what was caused by Hess alone versus the shared dynamic. Logistics came last, but they mattered. With a restraining order in place and tensions high, Judge Mogan ordered the handoff of Samson to occur at the Government Center Tuesday at 1 p.m. No debate, no back and forth. She even declined to let Mike cancel his sobriety group, reinforcing that responsible steps toward stability like treatment should continue. So, where does that leave us? With a reminder that informal agreements, especially when made during emotional times, need clarity. Judge Mogan's ruling wasn't just a decision, it was a guide. A guide for how to gift responsibly, how to follow through on promises, and how to anchor legal arguments in specifics, not just feelings. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one,